Better Hit the Mat podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 17 of Better Hit the Mat, allegedly a fitness podcast, allegedly. I am Boz, I don't always introduce myself, and I am joined by Tom, Travis, and Ryan, who I've got the wrong way round, which is unforgivable.
Hey-o.
That's a good start, isn't it? This was supposed to be the order. How are you, chaps?
Doing fantastic. Yourself?
All right, how's it going?
I'm frosty. After the coffee talk from last week, and obviously given my other predilections, I'm repping the coffee brand. It says, "May the froth be with you." So there you go.
Nice.
I have to say I'm particularly digging Tom's t-shirt this evening. Before we bang on about t-shirts, cheers chaps, welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, look at the Guinness represented. Is there something Irish coming up or something?
St. Patty's Day on Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday, yeah. It's my brother's birthday,
so.
guys.
I think it is.
My brother.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
My brother's
I think
name is
we're having a
Patrick.
class.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck your class. Let's talk about something
That's what I'm
important.
You're
Yeah, it's
welcome
all
to come,
about-
buddy.
I wish I could, man. I'm working. You know how it is, but
He's gonna be like, "Hey guys, I'm teaching a class too," and he's just gonna show your feed on Project Mayhem.
There you go.
We're just
we thought
showing
about doing that
here.
before.
Tom's just demonstrating the perfect pour for you, ladies
I'm
and
feeling
gentlemen.
it. I'm not looking. I'm looking at the camera while I'm doing it instead of looking down, and it's been delightful. Look at that, beautiful.
Okay, you do realize you have to let that settle before you drink it, though, yeah?
Yep.
I need a sip
Oh.
though.
No,
I
you
need a
drink it,
Oh,
and you get
so-
a Guinness
There you
snack.
go.
Ooh,
Oh, that's at least 6 thumbs down on YouTube.
that
man.
hurts my heart. You gotta let that settle before you take a sip.
I was a fan. You should have slammed it, you bitch.
You know what? As soon as it goes down, we'll get.
Actually, I once had a
of these
friend.
to go.
I never used to like Guinness in my heathen days, where all I drank was like light lagers. And a friend of mine loved his Guinness, and I was like, I just don't like it. He's like, "You're not man enough to drink a Guinness." I went, "I'll slam a Guinness." I'm like, "It's not difficult to drink. I just don't like the flavour of it." So we had a little. So I shot a pint of it, and then I think
What a way
actually
to
it gave me
show you're
taste
a
for it.
man, right? Like, look at
Yeah.
how much alcohol I consume
I
and
know.
how quickly.
I know,
It's so funny.
but it was like, yeah. Well, if you say I can't do something and I can, I'll show you I can.
There
Well,
you
I'm
go.
finishing. Once I'm done with that, I'm finishing mine with a nice, coming behind it with a nice manly, Radler, grapefruit Radler.
Radler.
Lord.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's a Radler when it's at home?
Well, they
Is
they
it
kind of
like
jack it
cider?
up. No, you know, in Germany when they take a basically a pilsner and they mix it with a sparkling lemonade or something like that. It's like half and half or 3/4 and whatever. But here they put different things in it. You know, grapefruit, stuff like that. So I haven't tried this brand yet or this.
So
one.
it's half beer.
It's half beer. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
really
So-
good on a summer day, hot summer day. You're sitting outside.
It's like the shandies and everything
Yeah,
else.
it's like a
Yeah,
shandy.
the shandy's got huge this year.
Yeah,
Yep.
Well,
exactly. Except
see
it's
here,
better.
if you go to a pub here and ask for a shandy, you'll get like most of a pint and then that much lemonade on top.
Lemonade, right.
In Spain, in summer, we drink something called a clara, which is it's half beer, half traditional
Yeah.
lemonade. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, like around here,
You
you've
can
got
actually buy that mixed.
Leinenkugels makes a summer shandy, which is basically like a lemonade beer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, I mean, Oberon hit it huge out of Kalamazoo, which is like an orange peeled beer.
Ooh,
Actually, I think
nice.
they hit it so big that I think Coors actually bought the brand. So
Yeah, the last can I saw, it did say. I think it was Course. It was.
Yep.
It wasn't Bush. No, it was definitely. I think it was Course. Yeah.
yeah,
Orange
so-
peel is actually a really good beer ingredient. There's a make of beer, like our favourite beer in Spain is called Estrella, which is like the local Barcelona brand. There's a massive brewery.
He
actually. You come
speaks
out-
for all of Spain.
no, because they have San Miguel over there.
I'm
This
the
is Catalonia.
You're ambassador of Spain. Allow me to speak.
And this is our favorite. Fuck, what else do you think?
Yes. So you have the beer of Catalonia, you have the beer of rest of Spain. That's San Miguel, we have Estrella. As you come out of the airport, you've got the huge brewing towers just standing there. And as you just want one the second you get into town. But they went in, because conjunction with a guy called Ferran Adrià, who was a really famous chef, a restaurant called L2 DDPY, which was short-lived but massively famous. And he developed a beer with them, and it's called Inedit. And it was designed to go with any food. And that's made with orange peel. And it is one of the most amazing beers I've ever drunk. And you can still buy it there now. And I have tried it, because I used to do a podcast where we reviewed beer. And we tried it after biltong, licorice, I think curry powder, dessert stuff. So we had just had because my co-host was a chef, we had all the different flavors of food. Then we do a palate reset, and then honestly, it worked with every possible flavor. It's incredible. So there you go. Beer corner with Boss.
Whiskey does that too for me.
No, that just burns all your taste buds
whiskey. Have a steak, drink some whiskey.
What about that?
So last week's show, Mark went down the storm. We had so much fun talking to him, and there was a fair chunk cut out of that. But we were like, we're going to do shorter shows, and then whoa,
2-hour edit. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so long it made me late getting it out. That's how bad it was. No, honestly, it was absolute blast, and he's sort of gone up there on my list of favorite people now. So
agreed,
yeah.
100%. That was awesome.
That's when you know it's a good show, when you're trying to cut it short and you still get 2 hours with an edit. It's like
yeah, absolutely.
I think the one thing that rang true throughout the entire recording was his passion for not only him wanting to get better, but wanting to help others get better, and how exactly. We've all been in the certification process. Shit, I'm 2 years in, but you always, every time somebody signs up for certification, they join that. There's a private group that they join, and everyone's like, "Hey guys, sign up for certification. Where do I start?" And everyone's like, "The search bar." But
exactly.
But he comes right in, and I think he was 7 days in and started trying to do classes online, and you can tell like he wants to get through with it, and not just to get over, but so he can be like that next step to helping others on their way. Yeah, and like Tom, you nailed it right on the head, is when you said that, how passionate he was. You can tell it's going to translate to him being quite the instructor. Mm-hmm. So, and that rang true through that whole interview.
And I think the bit I loved most, especially sort of watching it back, listening back, and then it's like I get to see it several times, because then also Lavinia watches it, so it's usually on at some other point in the house. And it was his passion at the point at which he found DDPY and he found his direction, and he just put that stake in the sand. It's like, this is happening, and it's like, fuck your surgery, I'm doing this anyway, and he absolutely would have done. I have no doubt of that whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Because he just, I don't know. If I could work out what the secret formula was to help people to say, this is what you need to do to get to that point of, I've had enough, all of this changes today, switcheroo. If we could give people that, it would just be sorted. But it's such a personal thing, and the circumstances have to line up. I can't even remember what my own were, but there was just a day of, okay, this stops now.
Yeah. I love hearing people's stories. They take that first step forward, which everybody does, but what's more importantly is, what are those 10,000 steps after that, right? So it's always that decision. They go and do it. There's the passion. Within that first month, that's where people get really, really excited, and a lot of people fall off. And it's awesome to hear stories like Mark, where it's just go, go, go. Like, who's going to stop Mark? Nobody. Like,
only Mark.
Would take a fucking freight train. Yeah,
yeah.
Literally. Yeah. So, and I love stuff like that. I mean, that's just the most inspiring thing in the world.
Yeah, I think we've referenced it before, that if so many people in this community have really big changes that are made, or are starting to make really significant changes, and Dallas will reach out, and there are people that Dallas communicate with every day about their food intake. And if Dallas can't drive them, who the hell can? And it's like, somebody like Mark doesn't even need that. Like, he was right. Ready to go. Like you had said, about putting that stake in the sand. He posted a status today from a year ago, where he said, "I'm going to be one of the only motherfuckers I know that loses weight during quarantine." And then he listed what he was going to eat over this past year, and how he was going to lose all this weight from it. Like, he called his own shot, and then he's like, he reshared it today, and he goes, "Told
Nailed
you."
It.
Nice. Swish, nothing but net, baby.
That's right. So yeah, just awesome. And I wasn't sure how far he was going to dive into, the weight loss surgery, because I mean, we had a few touchy subjects there, and I think that he handled it well, just stating that, it's not a magic pill. It's not necessarily a shortcut either. It's a tool that he used to get him to the next set of tools that he's going to use. And hopefully him talking about the way he approached it, where he didn't hit that goal, but he was going to do it regardless. And even if he couldn't get the surgery, he was going to do it regardless. Hopefully there are some people there that are kind of maybe in the back of their mind thinking, okay, the surgery is the only way I can do it. Maybe he lit a spark, in them somewhere too. And, that's all you can really hope for, is that your story, or my story, or Tom's story, or Travis or Boz's story is going to make somebody want to make a change, as small as they are. And that compounds to kind of what Tom had talked about, even with the healthy at every size movement, is small changes make massive long-term changes. And even as we're on these journeys, regardless of if you're starting in the 400 pounds or the 250s, any small changes you make, losing that 10% of your body weight, the things it does for your internal organs long term they're so significant that they can't be ignored.
Yeah, and obviously with the benefit of the show going out, the graphs that Tom gave me to overlay, if you're still in doubt about that study, go and look at that graphic, because yes, it shows 3 different weight groups and risk groups, but it also shows you the drop in danger, I guess, having lost
risk
some
factor,
weight.
overall risk.
Risk.
Yeah. So, don't anything you're doing to come down is making you safer. I mean, it was a wake up call for me. I know it's based on BMI. BMI can be faulty. Yes, my bones are like lead, but I am not thin. And I'd got to this point of, I'm pretty fit. I can hold my own. I wasn't too worried about my long-term health. And you look at that and I think, actually, yeah, there is cause. I'm still carrying more than I should. I could be safer. It was, it was useful to me in that respect. I think one thing, we did touch on it, but I think sometimes with something like that, if you're set on one way of thinking and then you listen to something that challenges that, your immediate reaction can be, oh, no, and you put a wall up. You don't mean to, it's just natural. And then you don't really hear the rest of what's said. And what we tried to do in that was say, this is a scientific study, this is all we're presenting, and you take from it what you will, but we're not judging anyone, we're not putting down anybody's way of thinking. So in terms of something like mental health, for example, we weren't really touching on that side of it. That's a different conversation. This was just a presentation of a scientific study which had a lot of validity
about health, about overall body health and heart health of an individual. That's
and it was the body health. It was not this health. So
correct.
Correct. And that's something that, it doesn't matter how healthy you are up here, your heart does not care. It doesn't. I mean, from a stress, maybe the mental stress and fatigue you can put on your body from overly feeling bad or depressed, obviously that's gonna take a toll on your overall physical health. But when it comes to the way your organs function, that's just kind of how it is. I mean, when I saw the doctor and I was in the 360s and the doctor said, if you don't lose weight, you will die. It doesn't matter how you feel now, as you age, it will get worse. That right there, I never felt bad about myself, and I was mad that he said that. But man, in hindsight, it was probably one of the best things somebody could have said, and it was terrible to hear. But I used that as a driving motivation. I don't do the vision board thing that you've done, Tom, but if I did, I probably would have said that: do this or you would die. And everybody finds their motivations in different ways. We continuously talk about finding your why, finding that reason to put that stake in the ground, and just like you had talked about, Boz, finding that switch and flipping it, and it make it a one-way switch. Don't make it a switch that you can flip on and off whenever you feel like. So
obviously I'm not that familiar with is it HEES? Is it healthy at any size or
healthy at every size?
Healthy at every size.
Yeah.
And we are not doing down the positive effect that will have had for a lot of people. And again, mentally, it's given some people a boost, and we're not seeking to sort of undermine that.
Never.
I think that's important that we get across. But healthy at any size. If you're a smaller size, you'll be healthier, mate.
But you can also be unhealthy at a small size too.
Exactly.
Skinny fat.
And that's the thing is everybody hears that healthy at every size, and they automatically assume big people thinking that they're fit, and it's not always that way. It can be the other way as well.
Exactly what I was going to mention as well.
Both sides of the spectrum. There are plenty of people that are underweight, that are undernutrition. Is that even a phrase? What's the word I'm looking for?
Malnutrition.
Nutrition. There we go. I mean, leave it to the doctor over here.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
What's up? I got degrees. But that's what I'm here for. But in all seriousness, it's it's easy to look at that and automatically assume the bigger spectrum, and a part of it becomes so many people are worried about the scale, and generally they're worried about the scale on the high side, never on the low side. I mean, I see it even in the group. People are like, I'm at 125 and I'm not putting on any weight. And people are like, oh, you should be so lucky. Well, maybe that person is unlucky, just like you are. You're trying to lose weight. He wants to put on 20 pounds and he can't. There are people that do that. I had a roommate that was 6'6", and he weighed in at 121. He was wearing 3X shirts purely for length.
Yeah.
He looked ludicrous. But it didn't matter what he could do. He was literally taking like that weight gain 2000 shit. He was drinking 2 shakes a night, 4K, 4,000 calories after 9 p.m. trying to put on weight. Couldn't do it, no matter what he did. There are just some people that can't do it, and he wanted to. He didn't want to look skeletal, and that bothered him in the same way that being big, whether I want to admit it or not, bothered me. We had very similar struggles, probably mentally, definitely at least how we probably talk to ourselves in the mirror. And people are so eager to tell somebody like, why are you doing keto? You're in the 130s. Well, maybe they don't like the way they look either, and that's okay. Or don't tell somebody, oh, you can eat this. You're already thin. Well, that's just as much shaming, honestly, as anything else. My wife hears.
I mean, bottom line is you shouldn't judge or question anyone else's journey or what they're doing, because like you said.
Unless they're vegan.
Many times. Well, vegan, yeah. Unless they're vegan or if they're from Moline or Crestview.
Oh my God.
Oh, actually, yeah, I did want to welcome someone back to the show this week. Your glasses, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Just say, the return of Tom's Wi-Fi. Welcome back.
Hey, we're not done with the show yet, so
you gotta give it 30. We gotta get 30 minutes into actually starting the show to see.
I was actually having issues earlier. I don't know if it was me or Ryan, but I had to switch over to my hotspot. Oof.
There you go.
That's what.
But yeah, no. I'm in all seriousness. I did even like you had mentioned that about the mental aspect of it all and us not attacking it. I had a few people that reached out to me privately and said that they were genuinely surprised that we covered it, but they were really excited to see us try and put that out there, and because there is room for civil discussion about those topics, and ignoring them or pretending everything's okay, it doesn't help anybody. And I thought, Tom, you did just a spectacular job of covering it. I know it's not an easy thing to cover.
Yeah.
So. I appreciate that so much. And again, with everything that we talk about on all the segments, even if they're silly or if they're really serious, we always want to look at it from that one purview. It's not sided this way or this way. There's always something in the middle, right? So we try to bring that to just mostly just what the science shows, and how can we do that to make someone's life better. We're not trying to make anybody feel bad. We're not trying to shame anybody. We're not trying to tell somebody they're wrong or somebody that they're right. It's just, if you got that information, you have to know what the true information is. I mean, social media is not a great source of information these days, right? That's where everybody's getting all of their truths. And unfortunately, science is awesome right now. We're looking at so many things we never would have looked at before. And there's a lot of great research going on. And there's just ways that we want everyone to be as happy and healthy as possible. We want them to spend as many quality years on this earth as possible. At least I do. I know I can't speak for you guys. I know you guys do too. That's why we're trying to help everybody out. But
I'm trying to get everybody to about 45, and that's
it. Yeah. But it's health, right? I mean, we're talking about
what?
It all comes down to health. You have one life on this earth.
I don't want you killing my social security, man. Just get out of here.
Love it. Love it.
What you like?
But yeah, and speaking of helping everybody get to better places, we this past Sunday did our very first Better Hit the Mat live workout.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It is.
Whoop whoop.
And thank you to all 6 of you that showed up.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was gobsmacked.
had to
Gobsmacked.
pay
I
some
can't
robot.
believe so many people turned up. I was truly humbled and pretty much terrified.
Especially in
I
the
think
short
we had-
in the short amount of time that we put the announcement out as well.
Yeah, we had a 6-day lead in, and we had 40 people pay to come through. Had a few freeloaders, Lavinia, and
It's only because I wouldn't let her be in the same room.
that's right.
I was like, no, you're ruining the dynamic. He's going in the 11th.
I still heard her counting though.
That's right.
Exactly.
But yeah, we had, and I mean, any time you do a live workout on Zoom and you have to scroll through pages
Yes.
because you have 25 people and you still don't have everybody on your screen, that's as a digital instructor, if you will, a remote instructor, that's about all you can really ask for. It's fantastic. And the one thing that I heard from all of us is how much everybody enjoyed it. They liked that we still had a little bit of our shtick going, if you will, the trash talk, but they saw how each of us approached our workout and brought what we literally make DDPY our own. It's not that same robotic scripted approach. And, Boz, you brought in the self-deprecation. Of course. Why wouldn't you? I mean, talking about your belly. Travis brought in
that's
that.
just a line.
And,
Just my line.
if you feel like doing it, guys, you do you. Tom, I had mentioned to him, he talked about going into bridge more scientifically than any other move I called. Like, I mean, who dissects it into like 14 muscle groups?
And
Tom, you
I-
take your ass and you raise it off the
Science.
mat. No, but you're like,
Science,
no,
bitches.
guys, take those glutes, engage your core. Like, it was incredible. Just amazing. So,
I
I
fucked
just
up
called
my
whatever the hell I
section.
thought I should call and hopefully get your heart rate in the 180s. But it was man, it was so much fun, guys. Like, that's
Oh, it was a blast.
those are the things that, like, outside of doing the show and having those little quick magic moments where we're all kind of in sync, it was so nice to just kind of get that out there with everybody and just see everybody kick ass. That's really what it was. It was just it was watching 35 people bust their ass for an hour and then just to see the look on their face afterward, that just made it for me.
Yeah, it was a pretty fire workout, it turned out in the end. And as I'd just like to say, for the record, I fucked up my section on purpose because I wanted to make these 3 look better. So that's my excuse.
Well done.
Oh, look at you,
Well done,
team
pal.
player right there.
You're such a
That is-
Taking one for the
that's-
team.
That's why you're the captain.
such a sweetie pie.
Yeah, I made a 13-minute playlist for a 15-minute segment, which had a key thing happening at the end of that 13 minutes and started the damn playlist early. Worked out really well.
Hey, you gotta love it, right?
But I got you 3 fuckers to do Baby Shark, so I'm
Did
bucket list, tick.
it all together.
That says a lot about your life if that was
That's it. That's all he
bucket
wanted.
list.
It's a really long bucket list.
Oh, fair enough.
It doesn't have to be jump off of Mount Kilimanjaro. It can be.
Tacos. I have yet to see or take part in this whole taco thing that I keep hearing about.
Oh, yes, we'll do that next time. Will there be a next time?
I
course.
believe, yeah, we kind of want to do it. We want to do it at least quarterly, if not 6 times a year. So
I was thinking
Well, that's-
biannually.
so twice a year or every 2 years. You can't
I just
do
wanted-
that anymore.
When's the next Haley's Comet? Let's do it then.
Yes.
When I'm 75, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll
I
see you
really
guys then.
need it.
Sunday, 4 p.m. 34 years from now.
Early bird special.
Yeah, sign up
So
now.
if you want to get in shape and train up for that workout, I believe there's a challenge that might help them.
There's a 100-day challenge that just started on March 15th. So we have another installment of the challenge. If you guys are listening to this and you haven't already signed up, there's still opportunity to get in. So we usually leave that group open for about 10 days because not everybody gets the invite. And the word's traveling fast. We have several hundred people already signed up. Groups already made. We got some crazy group names as always. We got some cool memes going on. We got some fun stuff. So we've got
Doing
some
groups was one of the best things we ever did, man. That was
Absolutely. Absolutely. And got some new ideas too. We'll have some kind of mini challenges in between that may kind of interject in the show and stuff like that. So we'll find fun things for you guys to do during that 100 days. But the whole idea is that accountability, guys. We're here for each other. That's why we do the show for you guys. That's why we do it for each other, and that's why we do the challenge.
Speaking of that, the groups that we're talking about, Ryan. If you
5:30 right now, boys.
Those groups support groups. It's not like these groups are separated. People are in the other. There's people that are in 3 to 4 groups. And everybody posts in all their groups, but it's basically just a huge accountability system.
Yep. I'm just cheerleading everyone, but the group I made for the last challenge, it became #Team Creaky because everybody in there was like, I feel like ass today, this hurts, but I did a workout anyway, and we were like, yes, you did it. So they've actually taken that on this next challenge, and that group is now called Team
There's
Creaky.
Official Team Creaky.
I know Steve Hyland's leading the Team Creaky charge these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I'm their cheerleader for this challenge because I have other things going on, but I will be checking in regularly with people. And there's another group, forgive me, I can't remember who set it up. I'm so flustered this week. But it's basically this is our 100-day accountability group, and you can post pictures of your dogs at any point. I'm following you guys.
Oh yes,
I love dogs.
that one.
Well, there's a few. There's
a dog mom one.
Parents of dogs. There's one. I know Teresa Butler has one.
I think it was
that they
Teresa's,
have.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's just something looking through there. We got a Dungeons and DDPY group. So for you role players out there,
Nice.
take that
I'm
for
enjoying
what
that
you
one
will.
too.
We got Team Bendy Bitches. Feel like crap, owning it anyways. Team Creaky. There it is.
Team Creaky.
So yeah, that's made it a lot of fun. We got whoever these guys are. Meh.
I
I wouldn't join them. Looks like creepers.
Handsome shit.
Yep, here you go. Official accountability of people with dogs.
That's the one. That's the one.
There you go.
That would be Teresa Butler's group.
Oh, it's Teresa. Sorry, Teresa.
Yep.
My bad. Awesome.
But yeah, so
Nice.
that'll be a lot of fun. And we my team, we're Team Savage as fuck, and it's all about Fred and Ben Savage. So that's pretty much what we revolve all of our workouts around, is the Wonder Years and Boy Meets World and the Princess Bride now.
Ooh, nice.
Excellent.
Well, of course you know me. I'm a put my shit everywhere. So Sham Fam's got one out for sure.
Weird.
We welcome.
I would
all.
have never guessed.
Not like you to brand something, Travis.
That's what somebody's like, I need an accountability group. I think Travis has that keyword, need a group. And then as soon as somebody posted in a group, Travis is like, you can come join us, you cult leader.
No,
You got like
mine's
75 people.
It's need a blank. Just fill it. Need a T-shirt. Need a group.
Need a friend.
Whatever you need, we got it at Shamrock Fitness, baby.
Need a back rub in the back of a van. Anything you need, Travis got.
Exactly.
In fact,
Need a workout on a boat.
I probably have to pay him for wearing the shirt. I probably do.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
No, after we're done with this, he's gonna be like, hey, can we actually make a Shamrock Fitness version of Tom's shirt? He's gonna message me privately. I already know it.
I tried. I didn't want to ruin this, but my aunt got me the shirt. But I was gonna put a C here. I was gonna make it Let's Get Shamcocks, but I didn't want to.
Ryan Hoves would have been just cloud nine,
all over it.
Raging
next
boner
time.
whole show.
That's what he does all the show anyway. Ryan, the Raging Boner host.
So yeah, guys, if you haven't had an opportunity to join the group, you can just search 100-day challenge, and it should be listed under summer 2021.
Spring, summer 2021. Yep.
There you go. And just jump in there, request it. Somebody will let you into the group, and then you can find an accountability group if you want. You can run it solo if you want. There are plenty of people that aren't like actively recruiting, but if you see somebody ask them if you can jump in. And like I know my personal group, we have a private message that we have outside of the group too, that we just do a little shit talking and just kind of keep each other accountable there too. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can get out of it, hopefully. And by this time, 100 days from now, you'll be that much closer to your goal. You guys ready to bring on this week's guest?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, Trav, you want to take the intro this time since you seem to know this person?
Yeah, I kind of know this guy here. Okay, great. This week's guest, he is one of the most well-known instructors in the DDPY community, and he was definitely my mentor during my certification process, which I was pleased to have him. I now have the honor of teaching along beside of him and Kristinnava in transition coach. give it up for my friend Dr. Marcel Dore.
Hey!
Hey!
Hey everyone.
Good day.
And it's his birthday, so raise your glasses, ladies and gentlemen, and
Yes.
sing.
Oh,
No, we're not singing. Sorry, we're not
we're
going
not
to do
paying
that
those
to our
rights.
listeners.
What's the happy birthday song you have to sing so you don't have to pay like the hey it's your birthday?
actually, the playlist this morning was a
Cheers.
birthday playlist.
Cheers. Happy
Cheers,
birthday,
Red.
Marcel.
Good man, good man.
Classing up the wine.
Of course he's got wine.
It's
Milestone. Big
It's from
6-0.
Valencia. Boss, from Valencia.
Yeah, good.
Nice. Not just
that's
a
near,
birthday.
That's near Moline, no?
milestone birthday.
Toro Bravo.
Fun fact: they speak Catalan in Valencia, but they don't believe that. They call it Valenciana. But anyway, there we go.
Right. I was there last September. 2019, not 2020.
So
2020
it's 2020 didn't happen.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, 2020 is out of there.
The last real September.
But we went between Barcelona and Valencia, so that was kind of nice.
Lovely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that you break out the tongue when you
Yeah.
say
I
those
hope
words.
he sings a.
Do you
a
go to
Spanish
Taco Bell and
song.
order burritos? Chimichanga?
Well, I saw the video with Mark there that
Yeah.
just came out, and didn't he sing something in Spanish there? And
He did.
He did, and
Yeah.
my wife hasn't watched that particular part of the podcast yet because she's going to kick my ass when she does. Because I said, oh, he pronounced it correctly as well. Unfortunately, he said impossible, which is an S. You don't theta the S, you only do it on a C. So it would actually be
What a
impossible.
dick. Should we
So
like pull
much.
that
So-
from
God.
YouTube?
but see,
He's
I don't
never
have to
coming on
worry
the show
about
ever
that.
again.
No,
We might as well just take that episode down.
I watched it
he-
back and I went, oh no.
He's got an incredible transformation, but now I'm questioning whether we should even feature him.
Is it real? Yeah, that's
Weird. Is it real?
is it real?
Just an imposter.
But coming from a South American country, Chile, that's where my mother's from. Boz, Lavinia will be even more pleased that I actually chose a Spanish wine.
Yeah.
Because Chile has some amazing red wines.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Casillero del Diablo comes from there, doesn't
Casillero
it?
del Diablo.
That's very nice. That's a very nice one.
Yeah.
As you see, this is red.
So,
Well, it's either that or tequila. So
hey,
Ooh.
now you're talking my style.
Ooh.
Travis, you had mentioned that Marcel was your what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even have one.
Mentor?
He was my mentor.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have an
did
official one. Yeah,
Marcel, did you lose a bet?
yeah, exactly. How'd you
How did that happen?
I felt sorry for him. I mean,
Make
here
a
we are,
wish.
Make a
we're
wish. Okay,
stuck
we get it.
in the middle
Exactly.
of trying to get things done, and Travis is go go go, and he's asking everybody for help, and rightly so, and so we do, right? We all ask each other and the other instructors and stuff, and I just jumped in, and I don't know, I think it was something about his mustache, just thought maybe I can help this guy with a mustache, and he said sure, that'd be great. So that's how we got to know each other. Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm curious about your selection of Kristinnava to join your team because I thought the mustache was a prerequisite, but she's sort
Well,
of
she had
broken the
one.
mold there.
She had a mustache for
It's
one
good
workout.
makeup.
That's
Good
right.
makeup. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
she
right.
did.
For Halloween workout, she dressed up
Yes.
as Travis. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
I
was
wanted
how
to
she
say,
got the job, so,
and Tom and Boz, you might remember this. My introduction to you, Marcel, was at Summit 2019. I had obviously seen you working out and everything, but then on that Friday, we had our photo shoot, and they had two sections for photo shoot. You do a photo shoot against a gray background, and then you would go up on stage, and everybody knows from the workouts on the app, and you do a session there, and everything's done under professional lighting, and Steve Hughes doing the photography, and well, Marcel was taking his pictures, and he's like this, and he's all good to go, and it's the same picture you probably see. It's him in the DDPY shirt, and then he goes, "Hang on, one more," and he rips his shirt off.
Whoa. Where is this picture?
And he was like, "Get this one."
Two shirts. I just bought two shirts, so I was going to
Yeah,
wear.
exactly. Yeah, you bought the one with the new logo, right? I think
Yeah.
because you wanted that.
Yeah.
And then did you have on the Performance Center one, or was it the Canada one?
It was the positively unstoppable 148,
There you go. Yeah,
which
the
is a
matte one.
collector's
Yep.
item, which I
Because of
actually gave it to somebody just a couple of weeks ago. My friend who's out in Western Canada, he was up to like 280, 290 pounds, which is actually where I started when everything started. And he was doing so well, and he's doing DDPY, and he's steady, and he's taking care, and he's close to that goal shirt being a large. And I said to him, I said, you know, I'm going to send you that shirt. That's going to be your goal shirt. I only wore it for that picture shoot, by the way, because I put it away when I saw Rick doing that. And I said, I'm going to send Rick that shirt. I said, this is going to be your goal shirt, buddy. So he's almost.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah.
Small costume change there just to be on
I didn't
on
want
topic.
to do an obvious product display here, but.
Says the guy with the product display in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Travis,
I didn't notice. I did not notice.
We didn't either.
And it just happens to be perfectly lit and no shadows.
Well, you know, this is the studio, right? It's the studio that was set up last September.
Nice.
If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it pretty.
There you go.
So yeah,
I got my inspiration from you guys. Seriously.
That introduction to you, I was like, all right, cool. This guy's setting the bar high. And then Aaron comes in and he goes, well, if Marcel's doing topless, I'm going topless. And he rips his shirt off too.
Wow. I hate I missed that.
And then I remember David Fiddler goes, do we have to take our shirt off for these?
Yeah, I'm just glad they didn't catch the bare naked chest there for the pictures. Although, you know, it was, you know, they do the ones on the stage for the pictures. You guys who'll be there, you remember if you've been there. And I wanted to do, I was very proud of my new shoulder roll, you know, with the leg up in the air. And of course, as you probably know, there's one side that's always better than the other. But because the way they had the lighting set up, I had to do it on the weaker side. So it's shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Working all year.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the camera only clicks for like a fraction of a second, so I was good.
Well, you heard what happened to my Black Crow picture. It's like, I can nail Black Crow. It took the picture while my trailing foot was still on the floor.
But at least you didn't get that toe in your butt there.
No, no.
That was another one, right? You remember Garrett?
What?
And
Garrett
and Gabarino.
Oh yeah. Dude, Garrett's involvement with that aspect of the photo shoot made that photo shoot last like 16 hours. Like, not everybody needs a tandem shot with Garrett. Sorry, Garrett.
Well, the pylon was fun though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just say, if you ever get a chance to visit the PC, and hopefully it'll reopen, and you know, go, and it's really, really worth it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was fun.
So you had mentioned that, you know, you kind of briefly mentioned your starting area. How did this whole thing even get started? Like, why DDPY? What caused you to even start?
It was the fall of 2013, and I had already started with the weight loss. I'd taken up cycling because at 290 pounds, you know, you don't really much into jogging, right? So it's not a good idea. So I started cycling, and I cycled like crazy in the summer of 2012. One thing I'd always wanted to do was do the multiple sclerosis, cycling for multiple sclerosis. And of course, you know, I do things, and sometimes I don't do them half-assed. I just do them like full-blown, and I said, bang, I'm going to do it. I was cycling 3-4 times a week, back and forth to work, which is about an hour long to get to the hospital and back, and hills up and down, so 2 ways. I lost all 50 pounds by the end of that summer. The cycling was towards the end of August of 2012, and I did 75 kilometers, which is, I don't know, it's about 50-something miles. Yeah. And I'd never done that before.
431 miles.
It was, it was a full 3 or 4 hours anyway, and it was really a lot of fun. I actually won the Rookie of the Year there, gathering $8,600 in donations.
Wow.
So, you know, with that mentality and going into something, and either I usually commit or I don't. So that year I did commit to that. Unfortunately, over the next few months, I kind of regained a little bit of the weight. But in the end of the summer of 2013, I got this horrible sciatica, like horrible. I hadn't had a sciatica like that since I was 25. So there I am with a sciatica. We got on a vacation, we were hiking. I could hardly walk, and shooting pains down the leg. And I got back home, and you know, the degenerated disc, the bulging disc, you hear so many people have that with sciatica going down to the foot's falling asleep. I'm going to work, I stand up for a few minutes, my whole leg is going to sleep, I have to change positions. And then I started doing yoga for back pain on the internet, on YouTube. I saw a physiotherapist. I got working with a physiotherapist as well. And after a few sessions, I felt a little bit better. And these things, you generally cool down a little bit after a while. But then Catherine, my wife Catherine, who's a career counselor, and she teaches at the local college in career counseling, she had this movie, which was on YouTube, called Arthur's Transformation. So as many people, watching Arthur's Transformation, you sit down there, you can't help but look at that and say, I can do this. If Arthur can do this, I can do this. And that's really what got me started. So I bought the DVDs. That was the old YRG background DVDs at that time. That was the fall of 2013. Started doing DDP yoga, which was called at the time. And Catherine's like, okay, here he is on another fad. He's going to lose more weight.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times we've seen that roller coaster, right? So
thanks, babe.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, there you go. No, she's good. But she always ends it with saying, but you persist. You keep going. You keep trying. So I never gave up on losing the weight, getting fit. And I definitely a lot of roller coasters there, like most people. Anyway, after that summer, I started doing DDPY and I started feeling better. And after about really 2 to 3 months, I felt great. My back pain was gone. My sciatica was gone. And so I said, great. So what do? I stopped doing DDPY. Right? Just like
cross that finish line.
I finished it. Yeah, I was done. And of course, what happened? The back pain came back. The sciatica was niggling. And I said, geez, I better do this. This is good for me. So, of course, I did it for another couple of months. And the pain went away. The sciatica went away. What did I do? I stopped doing it. Because I was all better. And my weight, realizing my weight there was also fine at that time. I still was on the way down. It's well into the 240s and stuff. Anyway, so finally, I decided this is ridiculous. For the third time around, strike 3, that I gotta continue this. This is actually good for me. So I started. I said, and that's when I joined. This is the Marcel that goes in full here in October 1, 2014. I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it regularly. I'm going to become an instructor and I'm going to teach. And that's it. So I signed up for the certification October 1, 2014. And by July of the following year, I had completed certification. And just like the cycling, I was up at 5:30 every morning doing my 1 hour, the L1, which is the previous L1. And just doing that 5-6 times a week, every day, and getting my teaching hours. The teaching hours were hilarious because this is like totally new. I mean, it's not like we had this whole community thing and a lot of other instructors talking to each other and people. So there I am, January of 2015. I'm to start my 20 hours of teaching. So it's January, and here it's cold. Nothing else to do in the middle of winter unless you're into winter sports. And I emailed about 20 of my buddies from the softball team that I played with the previous year. I said, buddies, hey, Thursday night, that was our usual ball night. I said, Thursday night, I'm going to be running some exercise classes. I said, you want to come in? It's the middle of winter. What else are you going to be doing? I will go for a beer afterwards.
Yeah, just like call it conditioning, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do some off-season conditioning.
But the funny thing is...
Some exercise classes, I hear you.
I got 12 people to sign up, and I had to rent the room in this place actually where I teach now, because I found a room. It was a nice room. I had to rent the room. And I had to pay insurance because the place where I rented insisted I have insurance. So I tallied up the cost of the room for 12 sessions. I tallied up the insurance, divided by how many people we had in the group. And I just said, look, for $40, I think it ended up being $40. I said, we're going to have 12 classes. Every Thursday evening, we'll go for beer afterwards. And that was it. So I got 12 signed up, 12 paid up. And the 8 of them actually continued. The 4 kind of dropped off. But
that's still a really high percent right there.
That's a good percentage in my experience.
That's how I got the initial 8. And
especially when they weren't looking. I mean, you basically called and said, hey, get here Thursday night. We're doing this.
Well, see, they'd already paid, but they weren't paying me. They were paying the expenses for the room. Because I know being an instructor, you're not allowed to charge for your classes. So I wasn't charging for the class. I was charging for the rent. So anyway, it doesn't matter. And the funny thing is that I didn't invite any women. And here I am, I got this middle-aged guy teaching exercise, traditionally yoga, based in traditional yoga. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to invite any women. I said, I would feel so intimidated teaching anything that even looked like yoga to women who are typically, more interested in yoga. And so I taught these 8 fellas there for about 12 weeks. And then it was so popular, the fellow who runs the center says, that's really good. He says, can we run 2 classes every Thursday now? And I'm still an instructor in training. And so we did. We ran a 6 p.m. and a 7 p.m. class in that same room. We were able to recruit another 8 times 2. Again, no women. I said, no women. We'll just keep it to the guys. So then by June of that year, and by then I'd already taped my videos and submitted them. But by June of that year, the women were like banging on the door. Let us in. Let us in. We want to join in. And so ironically, it started with men first, women wanting to join. And then after that, it was like, boom, it just blew up from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, for people that don't know, you teach like some significantly large classes in person, no? Like, I mean, at least the images I've seen where you're teaching to
the biggest classes in the world.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, and that kind of
be humble.
They are the biggest in the world. Let me just say that my Tuesday 6 p.m. class has more people than the PC when it's full. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And actually, one of the things with COVID is that I was a little concerned that I would be losing that following because of COVID. And so that was one of my main motivators to start online teaching, is to keep and maintain the group that was already coming. Because that class on Tuesday at 6 p.m., the highest number of registrants, and they register for a 10-week cycle. The highest number of registrants for that 10-week cycle was 119.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the biggest crowd, because not everybody shows up every day, but I'm sure the biggest crowd that we had on any given Tuesday at 6 was over 100. And we had half a football field. And out
Canadian
of the
football.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually, the Canadian football field is wider.
It's wider.
Yeah. So it's
but you can kick it through the uprights on the kickoff, and that's bullshit. Actually, time out real quick. Can I ask you just from a pricing standpoint, how have you worked that out with that facility? Are you a paid instructor, or is it per membership? How does that work for you?
Yeah, no, I'm a paid instructor.
Okay.
I'm a paid instructor, and I think that that's a really good question, because for instructors and certified instructors and people wanting to be certified instructors in training, it's important to know how to approach it. And for me, it depends on the situation. I was fortunate enough; I actually just knew this place existed. And I walked in that day for the first 8 or 12 really, and said, can I rent this room out? So they rented the room for me. But once I became an instructor, their criteria, they pay me a fixed rate per class.
Okay.
Now, the classes that I gave were 8, 20, 30, 70, 80, 100. Okay, and I was giving up to, I think at one point, about 7 or 8 classes a week. So I got the same fixed rate because it's owned by the city, the township. They have a fixed rate for instructors. I said, fair enough. So, some people look at me and say, man, you should charge per person, right? And I was thinking, no, you know what? I have a guaranteed audience. They do the advertisements for me. I just give them what I want them to advertise. They put me in the township bulletin. They do all the money collecting. They do all the, checking the people. All I have to do is show up, set up my stage, and then go. They provided me with a wireless microphone, the big boomy speakers. I got an elevated stage on the football field. And so all that stuff there that one doesn't have to take care of when one has one's own business, right? And so for me, that was a bonus. And the second thing is that's really, really something you cannot put a price on, is actually getting a following. And that is something that is like gold, really, getting a following. And if it wasn't for that following, I don't think that my online classes would be as successful.
Well, yeah, and you've been able to parlay that into another avenue for, monetization, outside of that. So that's been significant. And as long as it, I don't know if there's a conflict of interest there, I'd assume you're going to go back to those live classes, but still offer your digital platform as well.
That's right. That's something I've been thinking a lot about. And certainly my intention is to continue the online indefinitely. Because what happens is when you are signed up for a class at the center, you have to get into your car, you have to drive there, change, go into the thing, go back to the locker room, get back in your car, and you do that in the middle of winter, and it's really it's a pain in the butt. But even in the summer, when it's the easy thing, most people don't want to drive to the center, more than
excuse.
A couple times a week. So because the in-person classes are still going to be popular, much like we still go to the movie theater, right? We don't just stay home and watch online streaming videos all day. We like to go to the movie theater. People like to be in person. They like to interact in person. So that will continue. But for those who are doing twice a week regularly in person, now they can supplement up to 4, 5, 6 times a week if they want. And that's what people are doing online.
Yeah.
Many people that were coming once or twice a week before in person are now doing 5 or 6 times a week and loving it.
Have you talked to the facility that you work with in order to incorporate in-person classes with your platform, or are you going to keep them completely separate?
Yeah, we've been investigating. I think it's we had thought about doing that because we thought of reopening at one point, and we were looking into doing. I decided that I don't want to make them together, even though there was a possibility, technically speaking. But the thing is, when you're an instructor, you have an audience. You were trying to help people in the class do what they're trying to do. And even online on Zoom, it's still possible. And sometimes, you pick something out and you try and guide them through and help make adjustments and stuff. So if my attention is on the in-person class, I can't pay attention to people online. And if I'm online, I can't pay attention to people in person. And so that's very important. And in fact, as many of you know, when you're instructing in person, it's so nice to be able to do the calls, walk around, make little adjustments, give somebody a little tap on the shoulder, those kind of things, give notes, little personal statements of encouragement. And you can't do that when you're mixing it up. And that's the one thing I miss about teaching online, is the ability to be able to do that. But it's certainly possible. But so for that reason, I decided not to mix them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you were able to, though, create almost like a Canadian DDPY summit, correct? Is that, or I guess a workshop? Did Dallas ended up coming up north, and that was, you were pretty integral in that.
Well, actually, the way it works is that if you have an organization or a company that wants to invite DDP, anybody can. Anybody who has an organization or a company can invite Diamond Dallas Page to come up and do a workshop. And it's like you're inviting the superstar, of course. And there's a certain financial commitment, and you invite him, and then you need a certain amount of people to show up to be able to pay for that commitment, and then you keep the rest, so to speak. Not all the rest, but let me just say, to make it worth your while in terms of breaking even, just purely from a financial level. So you have to have it well organized. So I was not a company, not an organization, but Dallas saw that how many big classes I had, and he knows I draw a lot of people to these classes, well over 100. And so I invited him, and he said, yeah, we'll do this. So, and I was still in the same financial requirement that a company or an organization would be. And it was tense in a sense, of course, because just me taking it on. The center was supporting me. They gave me lots of breaks in terms of renting out the field and get equipment and hiring staff to manage the to and fro. So it was fantastic. I mean, we had such cooperation. It was amazing. And then DDP Yoga advertises the workshop, of course. And I knew mine was coming up, but they didn't want me to start advertising just yet, at least not from the general DDP Yoga perspective, because the Chicago workshop was just barely a month or slightly less before mine. Yeah. So this is Chicago with AEW first event.
Trav, were you there?
Yeah, I think so.
It was called All In, right? All In. So that was the first AEW. They got this huge wrestling.
It was all out.
And
all ins in Vegas, all outs in Chicago. So
the first one was all out?
No, all in happened in Vegas. All out happens in Chicago. All in as in.
Oh, okay, but this one
was
in Chicago though.
Right, which it would have been AEW All Out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now he's having a DDP Yoga Workshop at that event. And this is like a few weeks before mine. I'm thinking, oh no, we got the Detroit people, from Detroit to Chicago. There's a whole bunch of people down to Ohio, maybe even heading over to New York, and that would go to Chicago before they come to Guelph, Ontario, right? So I thought, oh, that's it. I'm not going to get to my numbers. And it was quite a blast. I loved it. So the adrenaline's kicking in. I'm advertising now, and DDP Yoga is advertising like crazy for both workshops now. So this is great. And Dallas was just as motivated to get as many people as possible for both workshops. And so they had this Chicago one. I'm thinking, oh my God, they broke the record. 170 people showing up for Chicago. And that's it. And I'm looking at my numbers, and I'm sitting around 140, 105, 102, something in that area. And there's only a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks left. And so I hit into high gear and boom, boom, boom. We go to, and all kinds of, I can't even remember where I advertised, but if you saw me on the street, yeah, that's right. I'm like a walking banner for this thing, right? I made little business cards. So I had them in my pocket, and anybody I ran into, here's the business card, here's the business count for the big event coming to Guelph. So I got the newspaper there and all that. Anyway, so just the week before, this was a Saturday, the week before, I'm sitting at around 150, 140. Wow. I was so thrilled because now I've broken even at least, and I'm thinking this is fantastic. And then towards the end of the week, and then on the way in to the airport, what happened? I think Dallas and Brenda were in the car or something, and it was the day before, and they texted me and they said, we just broke the record. So 171 was the final tally. And here I am. It's like, oh my goodness. So that was a huge thing. We used the whole football field. We had all the stages set up. And the DDPY workshop, if you ever get a chance to go, I understand he's going to the UK. Is that right, Boz? You guys?
He has hinted heavily as much, yes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So if you get a chance, absolutely go to a workshop. This is full of energy. Travis, you said you were in that Chicago one too?
Yeah. I was at Chicago. The funny thing is, Ryan joked about that. We didn't know each other at the time, but when we go, when you go up and you take the final photo with Dallas.
I was sitting right next to Dallas for that photo, and then Travis goes, "Hey, can my wife and I get in here?" I didn't know it was Travis or Robin, so I scooted over.
Did we say that? Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
well, sorry, excuse me. Your wife asked, and then you came in too, and that's how that all occurred. And I scooted over because I'm like, I've already had my photo with Dallas. I don't care whatever it is. And Dallas only sat next to me because I had his hat in my hand because it had fallen off the stage. And he goes, well, shit, thanks. And he sits down next to me, and then Robin comes up, and she asked if she could sit next to him. I said, absolutely. I scooted over, and then you came in, and I think you sat between them.
Hey, fun fact about the hats. I paid £5 for this hat.
Yeah, they were getting closed out.
No, it was the last one on the table when I got there, and Brenda this was a workshop in Frome when he came to the UK, and she's like, oh yeah, we're not going to sell that hat. I'm like, why? What's wrong with it? She said, oh, he decided it'd be a good idea to put his lunch in with the merch when we flew, and it's got kiwi juice all over the side of the hat. She said, oh, I'll let you have it for $5. I went, done. I'm like, and I'm never going to wash it. It's got Dallas's kiwi juice on it.
I got Dallas's kiwi juice on my hat.
You're going to collector's edition.
Yeah, that's fucking gross. I don't care. It's weird.
It came out well. I washed it immediately, of course.
That's a neat trick, Travis. If you want to get something done, you send in Robin.
That's exactly what he did. He's a smart man. He knows what
That's what I do with Lavinia. Everyone's terrified of her. I send her first.
Let her break.
I always send Catherine in first because nobody can say no to Catherine, and I can see
exactly.
That, it just happens. It's like, go, you go.
And hell, we didn't know it for almost a year and a half.
Exactly.
And somebody had tagged me in that photo. And here's the power of Facebook. Y'all be scared, but it automatically generates, and I get tagged in it. I approve the tag, and it's like, do you want to approve any other tags? And it labeled them too, and I'm like, what the hell? And then it just happened to be sitting right next to me. So the facial recognition software on Facebook, that algorithm, is actually what made me even discover it. So, wow. But yeah, I'll send it over, boss, so you can post it even bigger. But just small world, man. There was a lot of people there. Chase Green was at that one. He flew in from Texas for that. I going into Down Dog Crunches, I ended up kicking him right in the shoulder.
How funny would have been Ryan if I would have leaned around and said, "Hey man, about a year and a half, me and you going to do a podcast," and just lean on back. What?
He's a time traveler.
It's so nice, you get these things and people get together and you meet all the people that you may have met online. We had Stacey Morris in Guelph we had Yoga Doc. We had Jim York from Ohio came up.
Love Jim.
And Brian Duran from Detroit, he did come up. Nice. He didn't go to Chicago. So, the people that you tend to interact with, and they show up at the workshops, and it's such a pleasure. I always tell people, when you meet people in the DDP yoga groups and you get to know them and then you meet them, it's like, oh, they're just the same as the Facebook. So they're genuine, And I think that's amazing because Travis and I have never met in person, believe it or not. I mean, we're COVID friends. but we've never met in person. I'm sure when I meet Travis, I will say, Travis is exactly the same person that I interact with on Facebook and otherwise. But certainly, you can say that for a lot of the people on Facebook, which says a lot for the DDP Yoga groups that you were all joking about earlier. But all those groups, right? I mean, the people are genuine, and that's such a big plus.
Except for those folks over at Project Mayhem, scrubs.
Total imposters.
Just catfishers all the way. I mean, it's next level advanced technology for you guys to look the way you do on video. But just incredible.
It's a deep fake plug-in algorithm. It's very expensive. But it was worth the money.
It's like Syndrome, but the fitness version.
Time for a cheers on that.
There you go. So
hold on, I've got an issue. Bear with me a second. Just got to reconnect.
Did your watch finally sync to the app?
Boz has an issue.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Boz, you can turn off the heart rate monitor now. You got enough points.
No, hold on. My dear, I've run out of red wine. Could you possibly bring me some more? Thank you very much.
Toro Bravo de Valencia.
My goodness. Hey, while Boz is summoning his... I will tell you, this is delicious. So if you want to try
is somebody paying him? This is the third time he showed the can on the show.
He's desperate for those sponsors.
Let's see what is really going on here. This is
most of you may or may not realize, but Travis is in beverage distribution. Travis, did you guys recently acquire a new company?
Exactly.
He just got some stock or something because this is really
ding,
weird.
ding. We have a winner.
He posted a picture on Instagram, and they're like, "Hey, DM us for a collaboration," and he did.
Oh, there you go. Got delivered.
Say hi to Marcel. It's his birthday.
He's like, you want that bonus? You better show that can
thank
3
you,
times.
Lavinia.
He says thank you.
Muchas gracias.
He says muchas gracias.
Without the th.
Without the th.
I'm just a South American thug.
Did you just Knight Rider her bring you some?
Did. He did trace eater.
Wow.
I love technology. I love living in the future.
I wouldn't have said Dick Trader, but hey, way to hit it out of the park there,
later
Tom.
too, if you know
Now
what
I
I'm
can
Here
cheers.
for what we're here for.
Oh, we got that cheers to Boz. I'll cheer Boz.
Got lots of cheers going on. Travis is gonna show that can again.
Hey, have you guys seen this right here?
Heard it was shitty. So Marcel, with how much you've taught, whether it's both in person and remotely, do you have any Dallas has his Arthur, or his Chase Green, or now Vance, and all these. Do you have your own version of that, or what you would consider that one person, or that maybe the couple of people that you've made significant changes to their lives?
Not one person, I think, because now it's 6 years now that I've been teaching, and there are some people that have been with me for most of those 6 years.
Wow.
So the success stories that come to mind are the people who have been here for 5-6 years. And I think of a fellow named Jerry, for example. Jerry is he's pretty close to 80 right now. So he started, when he was in his 70s. And Jerry, bless his heart, he's a lawyer here in Guelph. He doesn't do Facebook. He's low tech, but he managed to hook on to my online classes, and because he just loves coming to DDPY. And the changes that you see in him, both physically and just, I think, in terms of his energy, are amazing. And he is known in Guelph as just being a guy that just keeps on ticking. And he's not, Superman in terms of doing any of the positions, but he is the king of coming regularly. And because of that, I think now he's 80 now, or 81. I think that, ticking that time clock into the 80s, I think he's in better shape now than he was 5 or 6 years ago. So it's subtle. It's not a huge transformation, but I can guarantee you his quality of life, from what he tells me. And he was so thankful, actually. He donated a large donation to the local hospital on behalf of me on a plaque.
Wow.
So that's really
amazing.
Nice. Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So the thankfulness that you get, and you see the people just persisting. I have a special interest and a special place in my heart for people who are older than I am, even though I'm in the next demographic category at 60. But, whenever I feel really, really good about being 60 and feeling the way I do compared to, say, when I was 50 or even 40, I think, you know what, there's a lot of people in my class who are 62, 65, 68, 72. A young lady, Tanya, and she lives in Rockwood here. She used to come in person. She's 72 now, or 73 maybe. And she is a spry little lady, and she looks like she's been fit and active all her life. But she comes to classes regularly. She had bad internet. And so when I got online, she had trouble connecting. So what does she do? She goes to visit her daughter in New York City. She stayed there the whole month of December and January, so she could have good internet to come to my classes. I think the daughter thing was just an aside.
She can buy higher speed internet there in town, or
no, she's out in the boonies here, and then
hook her up with Travis.
Then she went to North Carolina. And she went to North Carolina. She's there all of February and all of March, so she can come to my classes. And she comes 5-6 times a week.
The internet's not great in North.
She stayed in my house the entire time, took Marcel's class, didn't take one of mine.
April, she's just going to be in Marcel's home. Hey.
Oh, God. Yeah. She'll be
tired of internet.
I was going to say, the representation of North Carolina and internet on this show hasn't been so great over the last few weeks.
Bueno.
Marcel, you may have known, you mentioned Jerry and having that older person having these significant changes. Speaking of Dallas's people, Dallas has his TED. So I just need to know, when are you going to make a video of you standing on Jerry to show how strong Jerry is, like Dallas did with TED?
Did he do that?
He made a video. He did.
Just standing on his abs?
Yep.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So create a
There's
TikTok account, and that needs to be the very first thing you release.
But they also had a push-up competition.
They did.
The original.
That's
the old YRG DVD, wasn't it? I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's so funny going back and looking at those and seeing people like Jim Mabes is in some of those old videos on the YRG on the original ones, and seeing him in the background looking all young and spry, and he's
Yoga
not that
Doc.
like. Yep. Yoga
Doc
Doc
looks like a
rail
completely
thin
different human being. Yeah.
But Jim was in the movie Relentless at the crib.
Yep.
And you see him in the background there, looking pretty young. Actually, Jim is the only other DDPY instructor who's older than I am, other than Dallas, of course, because Dallas is about 65. I think Jim is about 63, and I just turned 60. So it's not that people in my classes are all old, because they're not. We have all kinds of ages, shapes, sizes, and fitness levels. But the large majority that are coming very, very regularly are, 55 plus. And there's a different mentality there, because you don't see the people from my classes very much on Facebook. You don't see them commenting. You don't see them putting their pictures up and measurements and all that. They are wearing heart rate monitors. They are pushing themselves. They're doing some amazing things that are constantly reinforcing to me how fantastic they are. And just the way they just get it, and they're there because they want to be, because they decide they want to be. They're not trying to prove anything to anybody. And I think it's just a different mentality in that age group that are really there to feel better, quality of life, mobility, maybe decreasing aches and pains, all the same reasons that may apply at a younger age, but without the heavy duty kind of like comparison. I think they sort of just look at themselves. They say, where do I want to be? And they just go, they just do it, which is amazing. And I apologize sometimes, because some of my classes can be a little tough sometimes, and they always come back with the same thing. Yeah, but Marcel, you always show us the modifications, and you always show us what you need to do, what we can do to make it easier.
And
I gotta share a story quick. Can I share a quick story? So when Marcel says his classes are hard, so when I signed up for L2, Marcel reached out and he said, "Hey, I'm teaching an L2 class. Come take it with me." I said, absolutely. And I'm in like really good shape at this point. I've done workouts every single day. Kicked my ass. Like, I had no idea it was going to be that hard. I didn't even get it ready. I just showed up for class. Okay, let's see what this L2 is. And Marcel, crush it. You are so strong as a human being.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh my God. So
I've had people sending me real messages like crying after your class.
No.
I didn't know. Well, now you do.
Switch. Now you know.
He looks so friendly.
That one person was Ryan Hoves, so that was the one.
I do apologize. Yeah, sometimes I do take a lot of water breaks. I'm known as not giving too many safety zones, but people should take their own safety zones if they want. We always tell them to, and go into safety zone whenever you want to. But I do take a lot of water breaks, which is good. Take some breaths and all that.
I consider a water break a safety zone.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's funny because on the comparison thing, and this is really a general philosophy I have, is don't compare yourselves to anybody else. And we say that many times. I've heard it many times. You guys have talked about it. It's like, don't compare yourself to somebody else. Just look at yourself and what do you want to do, and that way you will advance yourself to whatever level you want to advance to. If I had compared myself to anybody in terms of flexibility, I'd be like really depressed because my flexibility is actually quite poor. Now you translate that into how is my stability and my mobility and those kind of things. I think I'm doing very well, but I'm not going to go and put my palms flat on the mat after 7 years almost of DDPY. And it's not my goal, actually. My goal is to be able to move well, to move strongly, to have a good quality of life and feel good and all that. So it tends to show up in different ways depending what one's priorities are, that's all. And so it's not one's better than the other, but rather that, you pick your own priorities and you go with that. And I think that goes with instructors as well, because sometimes people say, how do I get big classes like you? And, how do I get more people to come?
I've asked him that question.
Well, one of the messages is do your thing. Do your thing. Don't compare yourself to any other instructor.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like him or her or do it like this. Now, we all learn from each other and we all pick up tips and tricks as instructors or instructors in training, and we all steal from each other.
Who steals?
I love Bruce Nelson's. He does the 3-5-7 push-up, right? 3-5-7 push-up. Well, I've got a 3-5-7-10 now, so I go down on the 10. But anyway, thank you, Bruce Nelson, and a few other things. But we learn from each other. But on the other hand, it's hard not to sort of translate it. Don't compare with each other. Because do your thing. You do your thing. I got my thing. Travis got thing. Boz, you got your thing. Tom, you got your thing. And Ryan, you got your thing. Right? So everybody is different, and we all have different styles, and that's the important thing, and that goes along whether you're a student or an instructor.
Yeah, if anybody else calls Baby Shark and decides to do it, I'd be incredibly honoured because no one's done it yet.
I will tell you this: I haven't stolen this, Boz. I do half Frankenstein. I do the movement. I don't do the. I don't do that. I'll let you guys have all that.
Tom has actually started incorporating Baby Shark, but with jack straps.
Correct.
So it's totally different.
Awesome.
It's called the Jack Shark.
I think I've been doing
only a Project Mayhem.
I've been doing. I think it's PALS. Is it Archer?
Yep.
So,
yes.
But I always mess it up, so I end up laughing my way through it.
I love archers.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm so tired of Road Warrior. Yeah. The showstopper. It's so boring.
For archers, if you do it correctly, you're literally engaging every muscle by the time you pull back and you're raising that bow. Every muscle is engaged, and I'm in the red by the time if I'm not by the second one for sure.
When you called it in our class this past Sunday, and I put up the Sorry Dobbins sign because he hates archers, I actually grabbed my tablet and I turned it towards the camera to prove to him that you can hit red zone in Archer, and I did. I was in the 170s. So
Absolutely,
you were right.
I wasn't in the 170s, but I don't know how you do that. But
Road Warrior 3 itself brings you up quite a bit.
Yeah. If you're deep enough back, you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember doing my L1 video, and one of my buddies, his name is Dennis, and he doesn't watch YouTube or Facebook, so I think we're good. But anyway, Dennis is a police officer, and he was in my L1 video. We're doing Road Warrior 3 with the bicep curls, the showstoppers, and I look over at Dennis, and I only had 3 people. I had 3 people in that video, and I'm looking over at Dennis, and it's like his eyes are glazing over, and his head is going. And Dennis,
breathe.
Go into safety zone, please. And all I could think of was, he's going to ruin my video. I'm going to have to retake this.
Or you could treat it perfectly as submission videos, like how does an instructor deal with a student passing out?
And that's what exactly happened. He didn't pass out, but he went into safety zone. So he went down into safety zone. He took some good long deep breaths, and he came back up and he finished the workout through the cool down.
It is the position I underestimate the most is the warrior sequence, and the amount of times I'm talking my head off. I think it's, for some reason, my brain thinks it's a bit of a rest period if I've been doing a lot of push-ups or something else. But then I'll put the showstoppers in, and I'll look down at my heart rate, and it's like 146, 150.
Yeah, for me, it's the easiest place to zone, purely because you're generally calling that a sequence 3, give or take. You're nice and warm by then. And you got a solid base, and by having that wide base, it allows you to put so much on everything, because you're not really worried about balance anymore at that point, and you're just, and everything's spread wide, and you just go for it. And you can go from the low 115s into the 160s just by curling. It's super easy. A lot of people are concentrated on the curls, but they forget to engage that lower half. That lower half. You had mentioned during your video, I submitted my L1, and it came back with some feedback from Hayden that was like, the only thing is your student wasn't on his back foot, or wasn't on his toes in runner's lunge. And I literally pointed it out to him, where I say, Matt, I need you up on your back foot. And he goes, I can't. So, there are just some limitations. It doesn't matter how good you are. And actually, that's the one thing that I found when doing my L1 submission, was having somebody who wasn't familiar with the program forces you to be a little bit more attentive to the instruction part of it, and it makes you aware of everything you have to call. Like, even like you had said with your older people commenting that, hey, we appreciate all the modifications. You kind of take that for granted if you're teaching people that are, they know the flow because they've done that workout with you so much. But having that new person that you have to take care of.
It's one of the difficult things about the phrase in DDP Yoga, which is make it your own. Because if you have physical limitations and you make it your own, but then you're in a class with an instructor who doesn't know you, you can be pulled up on the modification that you need to do. So for the first year of DDPY, I could not do runner's lunge because the arthritis in my big toes was so bad that I couldn't put the weight on my toes. And the day it changed was the day Hayden came back at Christmas and did a one-off class. And I'm like, I'm coming! I just drove down the motorway, and I was in his class, and I was basically in warrior position for my lunges. And he went, Boz, turn that back foot. And I was about to say, making it my own here. This is my modification. I've got arthritis in my toes. And I just went,
crunch.
This is ahead of certification. So I just turned my foot into a lunge, and I went, oh. And I've been doing it like that ever since.
Nice.
So I was modifying. I'd obviously lost enough weight. I'd obviously gained enough strength. I don't know what it was, but something shifted that the pain was no longer too great. So that helped me push on to the next level.
Somebody posted in the group today, they said something about, does DDP put pressure on your feet? And they had something wrong with their feet, that they couldn't put too much pressure on it, some condition. And I said, personally, Dallas has never put a single ounce of pressure on my feet.
But if you're 80 years old, he will stand on your stomach.
That's the new final high prize. 2.5 million. Dallas comes and rubs your feet and puts the proper pressure on your feet. I love it. 2.5 million points.
No, because that's a cameo right now, isn't it? 250, is it 500K as a video? Or no, 250K is a voicemail, 500K is a cameo.
Not money, people. He's talking about points on the app.
Close. His number on Cameo keeps going through the roof. So, but yeah, I think you can do 500,000 points for a personalized video now on the app. So
yeah. So back to Marcel, who's our guest.
What we do.
Marcel's helped me. Like, just also, I wanted to mention, like, if we were lacking legitimacy as a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 doctors today. Two.
Doctors.
1.5.
Dr. Two.
Dr. Marcel and Dr. Feelgood. Travis Matt.
I was going to say, I went through a period last year where I was having, just out of nowhere, back issues, and Marcel was incredibly helpful. He basically treated me from however many thousand miles it is away that we live from each other. At what point did you, because you went into back pain specialization, when At what point did that come into it with the DDPY and everything?
Yeah, Boz, when you called me about that, the only thing I could think of, oh my goodness, Boz won't be able to ride his motorcycle anymore.
What's what he said?
And it was truly that prompted me to help you, because I felt so sorry. I know you love your motorcycle, and I know that if you don't ride the motorcycle in the right position, you will get more of a sore back. So
Yes.
no,
I can't thank you enough.
And that goes for bicycle riding and you know, other things. There are certain positions that could make it worse, but you can fix that in certain ways. In December of 2019, I actually left my work as a full-time hospital physician, which I'd had for about 16, 17 years, which is actually the longest single job I've had for a while. I've always been a doctor, but I've done all kinds of things. You know, I did family practice, I delivered babies, I helped out at surgery, I worked in the emergency room, I did education. And then the last 16, 17 years was working as a hospital physician, which is an inpatient, you know, that's where all the people who stay in the hospital get seen. So the emergency room would send them up to a guy like me, and I try and take care of them. I didn't do the ICU care, but I did the rest. And so after that, I said, you know, I've had enough, and I'll move on to something else. And in the previous year, I had gotten trained as a back pain physician with a fellow named Dr. Stuart McGill, who's from the University of Waterloo here, and not far from where we are. But he treats all the major athletes and professionals and Olympic athletes, etc. So his back pain stuff, which he has done for only the back pain stuff for 35 plus years, is really setting a bar long up with, there's 2 or 3 big names in back pain in the world, and he's one of those. And I had started with that because of my own experience in fixing my own back pain. But the second question that comes up is why? Why was DDPY so good at relieving my back pain? And the other motivation is I see on the Facebook group, a lot of people ask, what can I do for my back pain? And then you get 100 different people answering, trying to be super helpful, which is fantastic. And I'm looking at this, and I can't really answer those questions online because it's not as simple as just saying, do this for your back pain, or do that one exercise for your back pain, or avoid this kind of thing. It's not as simple because everybody's back pain is different. But I was still curious, why does DDPY so good for back pain? I mean, it's made a huge difference in my life with respect to back pain. And I started studying it, and I took the Stuart McGill certification back in 2019. And I said, I'm going to dedicate my time to helping people with back pain, because everybody who's got severe, chronic, recurrent back pain has done it all. They've done the acupuncture, the physiotherapist, the chiropractor, the medications, possibly surgery, consideration of surgery, Reiki and herbs and all kinds of stuff. And by the time they get to the point where, like, I've done all that, but I'm still having problems with back pain, then those are the kind of people that would come and see me for the back pain. And so I started a clinic in the worst year possible, January 2020. I started a clinic with the only motivation to help people with their back pain solely through the means of proper movements, positions, and postures and exercises. No pains, no needles, no injections, nothing. And it would complement anything else they're doing or anything else that they've tried in the past. So, of course, all of those things are helpful, but I was throwing in the pure movement, position, exercise component. And the clinic went okay until March. March of 2020. If anyone remembers, there was a global pandemic that started at that time. So we shut that down. And for many reasons, I did not continue it. But I'm continuing to do it in terms of what I do, how I teach. And then once we open up again, I'm going to continue helping people with back pain. And I've actually given three workshops, 90-minute workshops as a pilot online. Not the best way to do it online, but it certainly worked really well, and I think people got a lot of benefit. Kind of like the stuff we went on through Boz, and I make recommendations on what resources they can use. I show them what things they can do and how they can just change the position of their pelvis, their spine, folding forward, and which movements are particularly more strenuous on the back. And I show them a shoulder roll, for example. I do a full shoulder roll with the leg up in the air, and I'm on the side and I'm showing this. What do you think is more hard on the back, or more difficult, more strenuous on the back? Shoulder roll with that leg up in the air, or safety zone?
But
safety zone probably engages your core more, but it's probably it's probably going to take a larger toll on your back.
Yeah, you're flexing full.
Correct.
Exactly. So it's a flexion movement. So if the large majority of people who have sciatica, bulging discs, etc., will have some flexion, what we call flexion intolerance. So if you forward flex that spine, you're pressing more on the intervertebral discs. Some of them can bulge back, and there'll be a little more pressure on the back that way. And that doesn't mean you're going to bulge a disc or cause sciatica, but there is more pressure. As compared to a shoulder roll where your spine is in its neutral position, and it's being held there by your abs, your obliques, your upper back muscles, the subscapular muscles, the long muscles of the posterior back, and that's holding that spine in a very, very neutral, it's not a strenuous position for the back. Sorry, English is not my first language. But
either. Just to talk about that, how he helped me. So, like, my dilemma with it was, I teach a system which is renowned for fixing backs. How is my back pain getting worse? When I'm teaching and everything else. Well, yeah, I do a hell of a lot of driving, and it turned out it was a bad posture in the van. Obviously, everything back there was inflamed. I'm trying hard on the DDPY workouts to fix this. So when Marcel came, he said, "How far forward are you bending when you do your fold forward after bent-legged bar back?" So as bent-legged bar back might be good, the fold forward, I was going right under, grabbing my calves and pulling my head in. So I was just putting more pressure on the lower back there. And he says, like, just go forward before you go down. And yeah, with various other moves, he just said, change your position to this, change your position to this. And I was back upright in 2 weeks. So
nice.
And I think that's another point there is that you can do everything right. You can do your DDPY 1 hour a day. You can do 2 hours a day. You can watch all the be careful on your back while you're exercising. My next question to the individual is, what are you doing the 22 hours of the day otherwise? Right? So if you follow everything to the T, you're doing everything right for those 2 hours of exercise, but then you're going into your motorcycle and you're folding forward, you're crouching forward, your seats are poor, you're lifting poorly, you're twisting and turning, you're pretty much undoing everything else that you're doing. So taking care of your back is not a matter of going to get some treatment or doing some exercise for an hour or two a day. It's the whole 24/7. And I think that's a philosophy that is different than what you get when you go see a therapist, whether it be acupuncture or physio or chiropractor. Now, some really good ones will tell you that. They'll say, it's not just what you do here in the clinic that I'm fixing you. It's the rest of the 23 hours you're out there in the real world. That's what's important.
Yeah, even sooner, Marcel.
For a chiropractor.
Yeah, even sooner. In the beginning of the Facebook Live days, I would sit there soon after class and I would respond to just about everyone that, commented. And sitting there 5 or 10 minutes on the mat in the
Cooling
position
down.
I shouldn't have been sitting in. As soon as I stand up, I'm like, what the hell? I thought I just did DDP yoga for an hour. I got to go back and do some more.
Yeah.
But you can't. You put yourself in those positions.
Post workout you seize up so fast as you cool down if you just sit there looking at your phone, looking at responses, whatever. Get up and move, seriously.
Well, it's also in what position you sit. Like you say, Travis, is like if you sit in a certain position, then what happens, you're leaning forward, your back muscles are tensing up. What are they trying to do? The back muscles are working so you don't fall flat on your face when you're leaning forward. And then they get tense. And then what do? You have to get up and you have to stretch them because now they're tense. It's better to just go into a position where those back muscles are not going to have to put that work in, not have to get tense, then you don't have to feel like you need to stretch.
Hence the reason I'm standing.
I have a
next level. This next level. You invented a whole new approach to podcasting.
Maybe it'll catch on.
But the other thing that's led to is because I'm not going back to work in the hospital, and my goal in my life now is being an instructor and helping people through this thing here, transition coach Canada. And the goal, actually, this transition coach Canada actually developed before anything DDPY online or anything like that. It's because Catherine is a career counselor, and she's also a certified nutrition coach. And then I came in because it was more her idea at the beginning. But the word transition, because both of us are at an age where we're kind of trying to help people to sort of improve their quality of life in some form or fashion. And we didn't want to call ourselves life coaches. All right. Because I don't know. I don't think I've lived long enough to really coach everybody on how to live. So I don't, I refuse.
Plus, that's kind of pretentious as well. You know, hey, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Let me tell you.
Everybody.
Tom and I are like some of the best life coaches we know.
I actually go by the title of life coach, so I'm kind of fucked. It's on my website. It's on my website.
No, I couldn't do it, Tom, because I was thinking there's everybody's experiences are so different. I can help you with a small part of
Not different.
what you're
Everybody's
going through.
experiences are so wrong, Marcel. So that's
There's only
you're
one right
approaching
way.
it. Just you're doing it wrong.
No, and that you can never be in somebody's shoes, and that's the point. I cannot anywhere near know exactly what people are going through. You know, people say, I say when I do my L1 training, it's easy to tell an instructor, just get up at 5:30, do your hour every day, 6 days a week, and you'll get your L1, bang, bang, bang. But I don't know what that person is living, working, the challenge they face every day. So it's so individualistic. And so the same way I approach the back pain is I can't sort of give out a blanket solution. But what I am seeing is, and something that has taught me, and it actually made the last several years of my medical work extremely satisfying, is as a doctor, you end up telling people, don't do this, don't do that, take this, take that, follow these rules, don't do this. We're always telling people what they should and shouldn't do. And there's very little focus in the traditional medical model that is focused on, let's see what you can do.
It's true.
Right? And DDPY, if nothing else, that focuses on what people can do. We don't sit there and focus on what they can't do. But as a medical professional in the traditional medical model, we're supposed to tell people what they shouldn't do. Don't walk on that leg for 6 weeks. Don't bend over this way. Don't do this. Don't do that. So getting away from that model, which can be somewhat debilitating. And secondly, it also makes people feel like they need to be dependent on the medical system to give them permission, right? And we see that in some of the Facebook posts in DDPY where people say, you know what, I talked to this doctor, I couldn't find a doctor. I tried this myself and I've been doing this and it's working beautifully. Great. That you've empowered yourself to be able to take your own life into your own hands. And then what you do is you get help from other people as you see fit. So as a physician, even now helping people with back pain, I don't fix people's problems, right? They have to fix their problems. And I'll get somebody come and say, hey, doc. I say, so what's your reason for coming today? I heard that you're going to fix my back pain. And my answer right away is, I don't think I'll fix your back pain. I can help you with your back pain, but I hope to teach you how you can fix your back pain. And there's a big mental shift there, right? I'm not this all-knowing physician who is going to tell you how to do things right? My goal in DDPY and in medicine now is to try and empower you to find your solution. And sometimes that solution will be different than what I've read in the textbook, will be different than the scientific information. And you have to give some credibility to that. And we see individuals in the DDP yoga groups who talk about those things. And they're doing things that they never thought possible, right? Travis, you talked to Jen Richards, for example, right? Mm-hmm. And Jen has a prosthesis on the leg, and she's got some condition that is disabling for her. But she persists, and she does what she thinks is right. She listens to her body. She gets help from some of the instructors, and we try and help her. But ultimately, you got to congratulate Jen. She just goes and motors on ahead. And with the encouragement of individuals, the support of some instructors, and most of all, with her determination and drive to make things work for herself. And that's all we're doing there. We're just trying to help out. Yeah. So I hope to carry that forward in my next career, which has just started. My next career, helping people who are living with some chronic diseases like cancer, multiple sclerosis. And honestly, I think that I have the benefit that at least locally and regionally here, when I see people in person, they know who I am. They know I'm the doctor from the hospital, and they can trust me. And it's an immediate trust that thankfully I can count on. But I don't intend to sort of use that trust in the old traditional medical model. I want to use that trust in trying to help people empower themselves And working with those 65 and 70-year-olds in my classes, you know that, and you've all taught them. You see some of the people, and it's amazing what some people can do. And through no fault of our own, it's their own doing, and they're taking it on head on. And so try and find that, encourage that, and instead of saying don't do this, don't do that, watch out for this, watch out for that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely true. I mean, so much of this is meeting people where they are, whether it's physically, mentally. Talking about Jen, my gosh, she just mentioned today that she broke like a 300-day streak because of COVID, but got right back when the doctor said you're good to go. She was good to go, and she went with it, and she's doing workouts every day on oxygen. Yeah. And if she can hit the mat on oxygen and with a damn prosthetic on her leg and figure out how to make it her own, what the hell's your excuse? If you're sitting here watching this thinking I'll do it tomorrow or when this feels better, what the hell is your excuse, man? Just hit the mat.
More so with that prosthetic that she has, with the weight that she's lost, it's loose on her, so she's having to adjust using it as well. So she just sent it off, and she went three weeks without it or something like that, which put her in a chair, and she was literally crawling on the floor to do the workouts, which able-bodied people, sit there, like you say, sometimes and go, I just don't feel like working out. Don't feel like working out. Wow. But she just got it back and is killing it and put her NSV up to where she normally beforehand, she would go into down dog and it would pop loose and she'd have to stop her workout and get back in. But now that it's adjusted, some padding there for her, she's able to come up in the down dog, and
it's awesome.
Yeah, which is awesome, man. For her to do that, it's.
And those are the things that if the scale's not moving, that's what keeps you going. Yeah. Those small little changes. So
even to give her more credit there, she will send us a message, and she'll say, you know what, I don't think I'll go to the workout today because that's this and that. And she said, but I'd really like to go. It's okay if I just sit in a chair? I say, absolutely. Oh, yeah. We love having you there, Jen. Come and join us. And invariably, she'll be there. She will always be there. And then she will do something, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's a community element, isn't it?
Exactly.
I always feel that if students are like, I can't, I don't feel up to it today, it's just come and hang.
Yeah.
We're always doing something stupid. You're welcome to just sit there. It's fine.
Yeah, lie on the mat if you need to.
Yeah. So, Marcel, you earlier you had mentioned you had your birthday playlist going today for your No Push-Up Sunday class, right? So,
yes.
As you may or may not know, but we have a Better Hit the Mat hype mix. We did 15 tracks. Now we just started a second one. Mark was the first one to add a new song. So we're trying to gather every one of our guests to add a song to this playlist. We're trying to keep it in the 18 to 20 song range. That way people, if they're going to work out for about an hour, you'll be able to listen to most of the tracks. So we would like to know, what song would you add to that mix? It can be what was that guy's name? The crappy song? Come on, Boz, help me out.
Which one?
Oh, Pharrell.
No.
Actually, Pharrell did sing today. Actually, I was doing the cool down. He had his happy song on, which actually was kind of nice.
We ended classes today with happy.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't have that.
Well, I have to thank you guys because you've been very kind. I told Travis I know nothing about wrestling. I know nothing about TV shows, movies, popular culture, celebrities, or video games. So
that's because get the finger the right way. No, it's that way.
Yeah.
Why can I never get this reversing? That's because. There we go.
Now, music.
Edit something in there.
Music is just as bad. I actually, I'm the kind of guy who goes on Spotify and I'll get a playlist I really like, and then I'll play that playlist. And thankfully, because many of my people grew up in the 70s and 80s, it's not too hard to pick a song or a playlist from that era, which I do. So I was trying to be really modern one day, and I thought I'd pick one of these newer playlists, and I was in the football field there with my 80 people there, and it's only half a field. There's a loose curtain between, and on the other side, these little kids playing soccer. And so I had this playlist, and I didn't realize that it actually had the little thing explicit. besides some of the songs. So I'm playing this playlist, and we had a great workout. I cranked up the music, lots of energy going, but about 3 or 4 people came back to me afterwards and said, "Why did you play that song? There's kids playing soccer on the other side."
I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
Anyway, so yeah.
The only problem there, Marcel, is those kids are saying, "Hey, who's the old geezer playing that old song? That song's out."
Exactly. So I'm okay being an old geezer, especially today. And I will pick a song from a group that often does playlists for me on Spotify, and that's the Rolling Stones. And my song is "Start Me Up."
Fantastic track.
That's respectable.
That's a good one.
There are about 3,000 Rolling Stone songs that I would listen to before AC/DC.
We had Beach Boys this week. We had Rolling Stones. I think it was Friday, and this morning we had a list of birthday songs. But "Start Me Up" would be my hype song.
My Rolling Stones hype track would be "Beast of Burden." Just a fantastic track. Guns N' Roses does a great cover of it too, from the Interview with the Vampire soundtrack. So,
I used to do a different playlist for the warm up, the cool down, and the workout.
Sympathy for the Devil is what they do.
Oh yeah, they do that great. Yeah. No, I used to start with some mellow music for the warm up, then I'd go back and I'd switch the music to the fast music, and then I'd "Start Me Up" would be at the beginning of that often, and I'd switch it to the cool down music. But that got a little too cumbersome, so now I just play the same thing right through.
There you go.
I was getting mad props in our workout last week because during Tom's section, the song "I'm Unstoppable Today" came on, and planned it. Nothing to do with shuffle. That was completely planned, 100%.
Okay, Marcel, and one more question for you. Every episode we do a fist fight question. So I need to know, who do you think would win in a 3-on-1 handicap fist fight? Diamond Dallas Page versus this Supreme Team: Yoga Doc, Dr. Tom, and Dr. Marcel Dore.
3 docs.
The docs.
Oh my God, you got 3 mellow docs there.
True.
Right? Hey, Tom? I mean, we're not violent people. Nope. And if you've met Yoga Doc, he is one of the least violent people you would ever
I don't know,
meet.
when he's on stage.
Well, yeah.
I think that's where he lets it all out. That's where he lets it all out. But you know what? When he was here for that summit, and he was like moseying back and forth, and "Oh, we're starting now, okay," and then he'd mosey on over. So I don't know. I think unless you're playing his hit songs behind him, then I think that definitely Diamond Dallas Page would knock us all out.
You're letting him go over 3-on-1. Gonna bury yourself.
Yeah. Well,
we'd win in a tickle fight for sure. The 3 of us would win a tickle fight.
Tickle fight.
There you go.
You don't want the pressure points.
100% tickle fight.
We'd be doing
that's what I was
safety
thinking.
zones.
Just like a needle or an acupuncture
nowhere
point.
to attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You'd be like, "Oh, that guy, Dallas has something wrong with his shoulder. I'm going to punch him in the kidney."
Now, if Tom and I got a hold of Yoga Doc's tracks there, and we cranked it up full blast, because he sings loud, then maybe he'd go a little wild. But it would take at least that much.
I just think Yoga Doc needs to own it and have the courage of his convictions. If you're gonna have a band called Iron Mullet, you've got to be sporting a mullet. Where's the mullet,
man,
Doc?
you know what?
I'm calling you out in front of everyone.
Hey, Robin's a little upset, but I'm letting my hair grow.
Oh, it's getting there.
I'm working the mullet. It's gonna take a while, but I'm growing a mullet.
Doing that North Carolina proud.
That's right. It's kind of country-ish, isn't it?
Stokesdale in the house.
That's right.
Little Clearwater vibes.
Please tell me there's a 5-year-old Tom asking a doctor a question.
No, I had too much respect for Marcel. I didn't want to put it 100%. I'm being completely honest. I love Marcel too much.
So many opportunities missed there.
There was, but
I don't know if you're going to have the segment there on the baby going back.
Yes, I've got one. Here's a 5-year-old question from Ryan.
Here, Ryan.
Dr. Marcel, where do babies come from?
Would have been the question.
Well, I've seen it 100 times anyway. I've probably delivered about 400 babies.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah, have you ever had a baby named after you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually,
your son
Tom hasn't announced it yet, but their upcoming child is actually Burn the Boats Fitness. They are naming it.
Subtle branding. Subtle branding.
Actually,
Hold on, so
Travis called dibs. It's Sham Fam. Sham Fam Wellent.
There you go.
Bring it
Have
in.
you ever seen a baby gone back in?
I've
No.
never
So,
seen
you know,
one.
I've done a lot of-
Seen one
Only
come
seen one
out.
come
I'll tell you what,
out,
that was a wild experience, boy.
Yeah, early in my career. I delivered a lot of babies early in my career, and there's this one young couple who went through a fairly difficult labor, but eventually the baby came out just fine, this little boy. And they showed up to the clinic a week later just for a baby check, and the father proudly held his son in front of me and says, "Dr. Dore, we named the baby after you." I said, "Oh, that is so nice. I've never had a baby named after me." And I looked at the baby, and it's so nice. I looked at your chart. Baby's name is Gordon.
But he
Gordon
said you
Nguyen.
look like a Gordon, though. That's what it is.
Gordon Nguyen, right? I said, and I very kindly said, "Thank you so much. I'm very honored. Thank you." And that was it. And then I was driving home later that day, and I realized what had happened, because with a difficult delivery that week prior, the father had come up to me after the delivery, so thankful. He said, "What does Dore stand for?" And I told him, Dore is French for golden.
Oh, that's great. That's
So
great.
he's going named Golden. And if you're Vietnamese, how do you pronounce golden? So
Yeah.
my baby Golden.
It's
And
Gordon.
Ah.
Yeah.
so
there
baby
you go.
Gordon is named after me.
Oh, that's a sweet
So
story.
you
I
said
love that.
the last name there was Win, correct?
Yeah.
That would be Okay, so there is back to pop culture here, but there's a band, English band, The Smiths, and they're called The Smiths because they chose a name that the Smiths are awesome. Fuck you, Boz. And so
If you like that kind of whingy, carry
yeah,
on.
it's fantastic. Anyways, they chose the Smiths because it's such a common last name, and they wanted to just be like a band of the people. There is a Vietnamese cover band of the Smiths, and they are the Winds because that's the most famous last name in that culture. Absolutely brilliant.
They went full-fledged with it, huh?
Yeah.
Golden. Lead singer, Golden.
So I've got
Nice.
one last question for Dr. Marcel. So you say you've delivered over 400 babies. You could tell us the secret then. Those cranes, are they actually drones? So you just pilot them to the appropriate house, and that's how it works.
That's how babies are born? Yes. I've seen the storks.
babies
are
It would have worked better if you said stork.
Storks, yes. Cranes, storks. So, yeah.
Crane.
I'm thinking a crane come down.
Construction crane, yeah.
Yeah, that's how babies are born. It's one of those magic claw games that you have to play.
Yes.
Exactly.
There's many theories on that, Boz.
Marcel's really good at that game. He's done it 400 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I haven't been in there when the baby was made, so that's important.
You know, if your baby's got problems, like, did you drop your baby 3 or 4 times in that claw game before you got it?
You know what's beautiful is that there are many of the women whose babies I delivered, 30 years ago or plus or minus, that are now coming to my DDP yoga classes.
Oh my
Nice.
God. Full
That's
circle.
so sweet. Yeah.
It's been a while, Jan. How's it going down there?
Yeah, exactly.
How's it
Oh
hanging?
my God.
Oh my God.
Somebody had respect.
Yeah. So normally this is the point where we ask Dr. Tom to do his nutrition segment, and we ask our guests, would you like to hang around to the end of the show or, get gone? But we're not doing one this week, are we, Tom?
No nutrition segment this week. We're going to do it every other episode, again, for brevity purposes. But next week, sneak preview, we're going to cover the all-encompassing, really big question I get the most, gluten. Is it evil? Is it okay? We're going to cover everything.
I actually have to sit out on that because I may have celiac disease and I don't want to, get wrecked.
Even the talk of it may actually cause you to get a wine on
Through the
attack. So,
internets.
through the internets.
Can I eat pizza while you're talking about it?
I might eat pizza during the segment, so that's totally fine.
Cheers.
Now that should be
Gluten
great.
wine?
That should be great.
It'll be a good one. Yeah.
Gluten in my wine. That's right. Going to be a beer. Gluten-free beer.
Yeah. Gluten-free water all round.
That's right.
All around, baby, all day.
No, we're not going to mock the gluten-free thing. Are we?
Of course not. We never mock anything.
No.
No, we're a professional outfit here.
We are not trolls.
No, it will be an in-depth and detailed presentation as usual from Dr. Tom, because they always are.
Correct.
So that just leaves for today to thank our guests, and for once Travis only gets to he only has to say half of his stuff, because
That's true.
Marcel, tell people where they can find you, where they can get your classes, and where they can interact with you online.
Yeah, so we have our 18 classes a week right now. There's actually a free class. I didn't mention the Wednesday night. I do the DDPY fundamentals, and that's open to anybody at 7 p.m. And that's really going back to basics. And in fact, a lot of people who've been doing DDPY for a while come to that class and they say, thank you so much. I really need to go over that in a lot more detail, or slow it down, or whatever. And of course, you got the Travis and Kristen's Friday night, which many of you participated in. Actually, all of you have participated in.
Yeah.
And that's always a
Bunch
good
of
show.
suckers.
5:30 on Friday night.
I want that money back.
With a
Checks in the mail.
special guest the first Friday of every month. But all the classes can be found at transitioncoach.ca/online classes, or just go to transitioncoach.ca. And if you sign up, you can get our newsletter and stuff. But we have a whole slew of classes, and I think that's a good place to start. I think Transition Coach is developing into to more of a philosophy as well, and it's really just kind of like that make it your own kind of philosophy. It's like you're going from point A to point B and transitioning over. So any of the instructors can sort of help you do that from the DDP Yoga the physical side as well. And then look for some of the medical stuff coming up on there as well. And that's in development. And frankly, I needed something to do once I left the hospital, so I figured might as well keep busy for the next 10 to 20 years. My goal is to be healthier in 5 years from now. And that's a moving target, but it is a target nevertheless to stay healthy and be healthier in 5 years from now. So
Excellent.
Any way I can do that for myself and help other people achieve something similar would be fantastic.
Brilliant. And that website's super slick, I have to say. It's
Thank you. My brother did the logo. He did it. Catherine, my wife, did all the painting there on the wall, which is amazing. And the logo, the subtext there is building stronger people for a healthier world. And that really goes along some of the philosophy that we see in DDPY. You know, you take DDPY to help yourself first. That's why most of us started. And then we use it to help others. We pass the word around, we help others get through it. And then if individuals get stronger, communities get stronger. And if communities get stronger, the world gets stronger. So that's just a very gentle reminder that, you know, starts at home. Help yourself, help others, and the world will start looking like a better place.
Spot on.
Love it.
And as always, guys, if you want to reach out to us, you can shoot us an email at hitthemapodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube, follow us on your favorite podcasting sourcing app, especially Pandora. Our numbers are through the roof. We are the #1 podcast revolving around DDP Yoga on that platform. Also, we're the only podcast revolving around DDP Yoga, but still #1, not taking it away from us.
Yep.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Hit the Map Podcast. Follow me on TikTok at Tina 2.0. I recently went viral with a video I posted about my year-long transformation, and it's incredible.
Over 1 million views.
1 million views.
Wow.
Tina 2.0.
Hey, good
That's
job.
me. Huge deal.
If you want to find us, we're at Back on Track Living. Find us on Facebook or Patreon. If you want to join our classes, we teach Wednesdays and Saturdays. We do Facebook Live every Monday, 7 p.m. GMT or BST, depending on what time it is, UK time. And that is always free and particularly stupid because I'm always in a really mad mood when we do that. Come along to any of those. You'd be most welcome. Or if you just want to bung us a tip because you love us, then you could do that on Patreon for some reason. You have to put that level in. There we are. Trav?
I'm going to forego all my other shit. You caught that before. Definitely catch us at smitty'srun coming up. The run is definitely coming up. You have till March 17th. Well, that's going to be past here, but we're closing everything out. May 1st is the run. But you can really catch me at Tina 2.0 over in TikTok. Catch me out over there.
I do want to point out that you were going to forego all your shit with the guy who helps you run it.
No, I was talking about Shamrock Fitness and
Okay.
Oh, of course. Boz led into you don't have to say but only half of what you need, right?
I know.
Half of what I needed to say was said eloquently. And my other shit I don't need to say. Shamrock Fitness, DDP Yoga Experience.
We
The
know where
real
to find
Shamrock
you.
Fitness Instagram.
Travis, show that beer can again before you get off the camera.
And if you didn't catch it, it's a Paul Anner grapefruit radler. It's excellent.
Available exclusively at transitioncoach.ca.
That's right.
For a limited time release.
But most importantly, Tina 2.0 on TikTok. I'm there every day.
Yeah, we have similar followers.
Yeah.
And Thomas.
Be Unstoppable Athletics. You can find us beunstoppableathletics.com and Be Unstoppable Athletics on Facebook. Live classes at Project Mayhem. You guys, I infiltrated another podcast this week again. DDP Radio. Got a little bit. We did. If you are looking for the most extensive talk on blood flow restriction training, talked for an hour on there. So if you guys have any questions about that, you guys always can bring me the questions. But like I said, if there's a good episode on there, and you've seen all my videos on Facebook about blood flow, so if you have any questions, we have brought blood flow restriction training to Project Mayhem. So if you have the jack straps, you're looking for different ways to use them, different protocols. Sarah Fortune and I are both certified in blood flow restriction training. We're here to help you. Otherwise, guys, this was so much fun. This was a fun episode. I really enjoyed this, guys.
Yeah, Tom, when you had the same doubts from the medical perspective about the BFR, when you started, you did all the research. Guys, he's done some amazing videos on there. And Sarah and Tom are well educated on BFR. It's fantastic. Thank you for doing all that. That's amazing. Because really these, as you know, the straps have started off in the rehab world. So you're getting to close to the effects of a maximal workout at less than maximal workout weights, and you can sort of mimic some of the changes there. So Tom has done all that research, has presented it beautifully. I got to compliment you on that, Tom. You did amazing.
Appreciate it. I was it's weird because the company itself did nothing to put any of that stuff out.
Hey,
right?
at least somebody did it.
Yeah, so that was the thing. It was just like, so we've been just trying to kind of put it out there. There's going to be some, either repercussions for that one day or some sort of break for that one day. I don't know yet, but you guys will find out.
You took the bull by the horns and you ran with it, and that's helping a lot of people get through it. So that's awesome.
So we're working on that. But thank you, Marcel. I appreciate that.
That episode of DDP Radio were worth a listen. It was a really good one, and they said some nice things about us. So thank you.
They did. I processed as much as I could.
I loved it, dude. It was so funny. The funny story how this started is how we started because of this starting.
Perfect, right? Perfect. I could not have not said that, so I wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah, Travis messaged me. He goes, "Are you tuning in?"
That's our origin story, as they always ask.
What?
It's a shame you didn't do a call in. That would have been anyway. I was asleep, so it wouldn't have been the full gambit. Right, so that just remains for us to say, raise your glasses, everybody. Please, wishing Marcel the most happiest of birthdays.
Yes,
and thank you for spending your birthday with us idiots.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No worries.
Absolutely.
And, you absolutely should be with your family, not us, so we really appreciate it.
Well, it's pie day, so I think Catherine made me some bumbleberry pie for dessert. So
Nice.
I have pie maybe twice a year, folks, and this is one of them. So pie day.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Oh, sure.
See you, everybody. Hit the mat.
Thank you. Bye.
Hit the mat.
Better Hit the Mat podcast. How are you today? I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, we've been recording, but yes, go.
I didn't know we were recording.
Do you need to go do something there, laundry guy?
You don't like that?
It's a dry.
I think you should hang up some fucking.
Every weekend we're gonna have a cut where it says, "Blow it out your ass, Ryan."
2 socks hanging next to it.
It's the presentation, the fact that you can see the clips on top. You can be asked to roll
I tried
them
to
the
pull
other
them
way.
down, you fuckers.
Oh yeah, that looks way worse.
It sticks the tits out now.
You should do some yoga.
There's a drop.
Good. They should do some yoga.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'll go downstairs and lay it over my couch. Maybe that's much better. Much more accepted.
Hey, just trying to do you some fucking favors, sell you some goddamn medals.
You know, but if I do, I'll probably sell $10.
$5 on Ryan. $5 on Ryan. That's me and Tom.
$5 on Ryan?
So it's just like a SmackDown down here. We're up there looking at the fight.
He's a gentleman. He does fisticuffs. I can't.
He would definitely. He would do it old school.
Exactly.
I don't even know how to do this. What do you
Speaking
do?
of nice fuckers,
Like a
here, let's
gentleman.
cheers it in then.
He'd have to make sure he was in his
we
fighting
gotta-
trousers.
I don't like your tweet, sir. Will teach you the professor's ready. Not. Let's see who strikes the loudest. Lose. Put on my fighting trousers.
Okay.
Boz sucks. Boz sucks. Boz sucks.
Last check. Right. Somebody's headphones are too loud.
Oh god.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello?
Chick.
No, it's my voice I can hear in someone's headphones.
Is that me? Is you good
Hello?
there?
Hello? Hold on, I'm going to mute you one by one so I know who it is. Hello? No, it's not Travis. Oh, I know what it is.
Second
These
mic.
fuckers.
Jesus Christ.
Knew it.
Never
He's
mind
really-
me, I'll be back here just doing
Don't
laundry.
hear it here. I hear it mostly in this area.
But I've got headphones on, so it sounds like it's coming in through these because it's muffled. Fuck's sake. Amateur hour.
Let's get shamrocked. Just rocking a little shenanigan shirt.
Tom,
muting
are you
himself.
still muted?
You've muted your mic somehow. Oh, I muted you. Hello.
Hey!
Hey guys.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Actually, listening to all that talk on baby deliveries and stuff, I got some stories on that.
Is that your why?
It used to be. It used to be.
We've been running a series of free beginner classes during lockdown in the UK, which is coming to its late phases, and that means my work's about to go insane. So this coming Wednesday is the last free beginner class we're running. So if you've been meaning to get to one and you haven't, make a point of doing it. And I've just realised this show's coming out a week after that, so there's no point in me saying it. And we're clear.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you, Marcel.
Marcel, thank you.
High five.
Thank you.
Is the shirt dry?
Bye.
Bye.
Damn, he said, fuck it, I'm out.
Oh, man.
He's got
I got some
Bumbleberry
pie
pie to eat.
Travis, I need to know: is your shirt dry yet, or is it? You think you'd be able to wear it tomorrow?
I bet you it smells delicious.
It's a little more, a little more.
You know, if you don't hang them outside though, they get a little stiff. So
I'm gonna let the wrinkles get out. We'll let the
Yeah,
wrinkles
smart
get
man.
out.
He sprayed some
That
liquid
and I was
laser.
blocking the shit on the bed, but not too much shit this time.
That's
the
actually the
leftover.
only reason I was up there was just to block the stuff on the bed.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't want to move this way. I don't want to.
That's it.
Don't look behind here.
Did you guys?
I don't want to
catch
move that
Mason?
dildo,
Did you
so
catch
let's
Mason
just.
walking back and forth
I actually thought he was going to do the going down the stairs thing at one
right
point.
over here?
That was
Look
hilarious.
real slow and
He
stuff.
was over
did.
here looking
He was
to
like-
see if he was on cam, and he's going like this, seeing exactly where he'd be out of photo.
And by July of the following year, I had
How are you today? I'm like, oh my god.